All right, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today here. This is a great webinar. We do have someone from Shippo here to explain the Shippo service as well. And then we do also have our M.O.M product team here to show you the product side of things and showing how it all works. So, as we start and go into it, just some few housekeeping things. This is recording. You'll get this recording tomorrow morning, just so if for whatever reason you need to drop off or you need to share this with everyone, you'll be able to get the link readily available for you tomorrow morning in an email. We do have the questions panel. Feel free to ask any questions here. Anything in regards to the Shippo integration within M.O.M or other features to help you maximize your shipping potential, as well as Shippo itself. If you have any questions for them, they'll be more than happy to answer the questions here today. Also, like I mentioned in the beginning, for those who have joined in now, we do have a nice handout here, one of them being the slide deck and a nice one-pager going over the features and the capability of Shippo itself. Before we go into agenda, I'm Sean Taggart, Marketing Manager here at Freestyle Software. Joining me is Director of Sales and Marketing, Jim Cahill.
Good afternoon.
On the product side, we do have Director of Product, Ian Olano.
Good afternoon.
And joining us from Shippo is Katrina Arzavi. Katrina?
Hi, everyone. How's it going?
So, like I said, feel free to ask any questions. We do want to make this interactive as possible. So any questions you have for myself, Ian, Jim on the Freestyle side, or Katrina on the Shippo side, we'd be more than happy to answer those for you. So let's go through a brief agenda. I'll go into a little bit about the M.O.M software program itself. Katrina will talk about Shippo. We'll talk about what customers are saying on the power of M.O.M and Shippo together. We'll go into some benefits of Shippo within M.O.M itself. We'll talk about smart shipping, what that means. Ian's going to show you it all in action of the Shippo key features that we have. Then it's going to be back to me, and from there what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some other enhancements in M.O.M to get the maximum potential of your shipping itself. Then Ian's going to show it all again with talking about batch processing and the Packer's workstation. And then I'll pause near the end for a Q&A, but like I said, feel free to ask any questions in the question panel directly at any given time today. So let's take a look at M.O.M real quick. Obviously, as you guys know or you may not know, it's the industry-leading order and inventory management solution. It's been around since 1985. At that point, it was built by two brothers in the sheet music industry that wanted a better way to catalog and manage their orders that they've been getting from their cataloging business. Obviously, it expanded and grew it on from being mail order manager to now multi-channel order manager, and it expanded onto various different areas. Obviously, we specialize in managing orders, customers, and inventory across all multiple e-commerce platforms. Since we've been around for a while, 33 years, we do have a large feature set, and we do have a broad range of direct integrations, one of them which we'll be talking about with you today with Shippo, plus our API. Here's some customer slides. As you can see, you may recognize some of the customers. Now, we've shared some information about actually 4 of these on here in terms of recent success stories. If you haven't seen them, you can check out our website, or you can reach out to myself or Jim, and we can tell you how to reach out to us at the end of the webinar so you can get a look at those. Also, we'll be talking about some successes with Shippo and M.O.M later on in here. So let's talk about, order management in M.O.M, which is really the key cornerstone of the shipping side of things. Obviously, you want to be able to view all your orders in one location from all channels. If you have a customer service team, you want to make sure you have a simple order entry to get them processing and entering orders quickly and efficiently, so less overhead and less time taken away from them entering orders, give them more ability to answer calls, answer questions about orders, or entering orders in themselves. Obviously, we have different ways, an easy way to view all the orders by the different statuses, giving you the ability to quickly process orders. We'll talk about this and show you this a little bit later. batch process for pick, pack, and ship. Then also we have a packer's workstation giving you to process the orders the way you want, so different workflows to fit your business needs. And then also, and this is what we're going to be talking about a majority of this webinar today, the ability to print shipper labels directly within M.O.M from multiple carriers. And then we do have our key values here. Obviously, it's support order fulfillment from multiple sales channels, synchronize the inventory across multiple channels. We do have the CRM capabilities as well as omni-channel support. So what we will be doing is we will be taking a quick break for you to ask any questions about what you've seen so far, or if you have any questions that are going to be leading up into today's discussion. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back real quick. I'm going to throw it over to Katrina, and Katrina's going to talk a little bit about Shippo's value proposition. Katrina?
Great, thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Katrina from Shippo. I lead business development and partner management here at Shippo. We're really excited to be on the webinar today, so thank you to the Freestyle team for inviting us. We've been partners for years now, and we thought it would be really helpful to provide some more details about Shippo, our mission, and what we do. In short, our mission is to help businesses succeed through shipping. And we've really focused on that by really trying to simplify and optimize shipping when it comes to costs, delivery times, variety of carriers. And our founders actually came up with Shippo because a few years ago, they tried to start their own e-commerce business, shipping items across the globe. And they realized just how difficult shipping really is. And so they decided to fix it. So about 4 years ago, they built Shippo. And really the essence of what we do is to build a one-to-many connector between commerce and the shipping carriers like USPS, UPS, and FedEx. And so that's really what we do. We connect commerce with carriers through one simple connection. And that allows us to provide our 35,000 customers with the ability to do things like optimize their shipping costs. So you can connect your multiple carrier accounts and get back your negotiated rates for FedEx, UPS, and also take advantage of Shippo's direct USPS license, which offers discounted USPS commercial rates, which our customers love. You can also keep customers in the loop. We also provide tracking updates so that your customers don't have to constantly ask, where's my package? We find that this is a very common support question. And because we track across carriers, we provide very detailed tracking information so that both you and your customer know where your package is at all times.
All right, so we're going to pause right here real quick for any additional questions that you guys may have here, and then we're going to go into more about the integration within M.O.M, but we'll touch on a customer story as well. Be right back. All right, so one thing we wanted to do before we dove right in to the actual connectivity between M.O.M and Shippo is really talk about what our customers are saying. One of them being Bird Cookie Company. That this quote right here was from their president, Jeff. He said that when they saw the email from Freestyle Solutions about its integration with Shippo, they recall thinking that's what they wanted in a shipping system. He loves now that he can print USPS, FedEx, and UPS labels at once instead of having doing individual batches. You know, he saw this as a problem with getting tracking numbers to customers, but Shippo ended up working well for him. And Jim, I know you have something to add with that as well.
Yeah, I just want to give Katrina an opportunity as well to offer some thoughts. Bird Cookie is a tremendous success story for both of our organizations. They've been a long-time MOM user. They were an early adopter for Shippo, and it's really helped them to expand their business. One of the things that they've done is to engage with United Airlines and to provide snacks cookies for different flights, and that placed a burden on their operation. And sometimes with opportunity comes challenges. The challenge here was to be able to get all those shipments out so quickly to make flight deadlines and deal with the added volume. Shippo was a great tool for them to be able to truly harness the power of MOM and to be able to do that. Katrina, is there any other information you might want to share with the group about how Bird Cookie used our solutions in tandem?
Thanks, Jim. Yeah, agree with everything that you brought up. The one thing that was also interesting to note that we learned from Bird Cookie was that they formerly did their own direct integrations with some of the carriers, and that proved difficult for them to maintain. And you know, the tracking of all the packages across carriers was difficult for them and became very cumbersome. And I think once they moved over to using MOM and Shippo together to help solve for that, that helped streamline their operations. And in most cases, we find that very common where customers have their own integrations, but then move off to a solution that's sort of an all-in-one, just because it's less maintenance and less engineering time. Just one less headache for the customer to have to deal with, or the merchant to have to deal with, so that they can focus on what they do best and focus on their business.
Katrina, great observations, and so true. It really gets to the heart of the challenges that so many e-commerce businesses face today. The landscape has changed not only in the way that you present your products to the public, how you go to market, and how you handle orders, but with outside pressures from so many other sources, in this case, that well-known one-word company, Amazon. And they really have changed the market by changing their service offering to be able to include free or low-cost shipping. That has placed a burden on many e-commerce customers. And you know, what we wanted to do when we engaged with Shippo and to connect MOM to Shippo was to give our customers and our prospective customers options to be able to sensibly and easily deal with it within a framework that combined one-to-many possibilities of connecting with different shipping services of Shippo with what so many of our customers refer to as their place of record or their application of record, MOM. And that's been so successful, and what Bird Cookie's done and been able to do and is looking forward to accomplish in the future is great testimony to that. So the rest of today's discussion will really center on the process improvements, the ability to be able to do things faster, more successfully and less expensively with a combination and power of MOM with Shippo. We'll be focusing on that. So at this point, let me turn it back to Sean for the next phase of our demonstration today.
One thing to know, if you guys have downloaded the handout of this slide deck, you can actually click the link and you can actually view the success story that's currently up at Shippo's website. Obviously, also tomorrow when you get a copy of this recording, I'll share that link with everyone as well, so you can see more of the insight of how they integrated directly with Shippo inside of the system.
Sean, also there's a question there, so if you could read that question, we can address that together with Katrina as well.
Sure. So this came from Nathan. So do you support other carriers, Canadian characters such as Canada Post, Canton, Purolator? What about LTL carriers like Yellow, FedEx Freight? How does the product scale? How many shipping station shipments per hour? I know it's a multi-part question here. You know, whoever wants to start answering some of these questions.
Yes, thank you for all those questions.
Yes.
Those are great.
I feel, you know, we'll start with whoever's ready to answer first.
Katrina, can you take the first part as far as what you guys currently support there on the Shippo side?
Yeah, on the carrier side, we do support the carriers that were mentioned in Canada. We do support Canada Post and Purolator. I think there were there a few more carriers that were mentioned?
Canpar.
Yes.
Yeah, Canpar is one that we actually don't support quite yet. But if you just go to our website at goshippo.com/carriers, there's a full list of the carriers that we support, over 50 global carriers today.
How about any LTL carriers, Katrina? What do you guys support there?
We really focus on parcel. That's sort of our sweet spot. We have partners that we work with on the LTL front, but not that we directly integrate with.
Okay. So like Katrina said, that Shippo already supports that. So on the M.O.M side, we just pretty much have to gather the requirements to open those carriers up for our merchants. So there are certain carriers have certain requirements. So for right now, we only support UPS, USPS, and FedEx, but opening up other carriers is not much of effort on our side. We just need to make sure we cover all the requirements that comes with each of those carriers. So as far as how the product scales, it really depends on how you do batch or Packers Workstation, which we'll go into later on. Hopefully that will address your question there, Nathan. But for the batching, depends on how many. You can go to 250 to 1,000 orders, but there is a way in the Packers Workstation where you can actually print labels as they come in. So as long as you have multiple Packers Workstation running, you could potentially print orders all the time. So you could scale it that way as well. So you can maximize the number of labels you can output from the M.O.M system, shipping being powered by Shippo.
All right, thanks, Katrina and Ian. So like Ian mentioned, we will be showing the batch process as well as Packers Workstation a little bit towards the end of today's webinar. I think, honestly, Packers Workstation may be one of the most underutilized features in M.O.M, the most popular feature that no one knows about, in my opinion. So we'll show you that a little bit later today, along with the batch processing as well. But moving forward, we're going to go into now a little bit about M.O.M and Shippo. So as Ian mentioned, we do have integrations with UPS, FedEx, and USPS. You can tie in your UPS and FedEx accounts directly that you currently have. Shippo will give you a USPS Commercial Plus account. So those rates you would pay for your monthly invoices directly through Shippo. FedEx and UPS you would go as your day-to-day. So you would still pay FedEx and UPS for your monthly invoices. You don't have to pay for the physical printing of the label. I just want to make sure everyone's clear of that. It's just your monthly invoices and making sure that you're paying them for the postage that you used. Like I mentioned, you can connect your FedEx and UPS accounts within Shippo, the application, to access your negotiated rates. Now, for those who have heard about smart shipping, you'll be able to effectively ship out your products to customers with the ability to save a little on shipping costs, and we'll go a little bit more into what feature and functionality we have in terms of smart shipping in a couple slides from now. Some more things is, obviously, we did some workflow enhancements to allow you to incorporate your workflow into M.O.M to reflect your business. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Obviously, everything is now going to be printed and handled inside of M.O.M itself. No reason to go to a third-party system like a World Ship or a Ship Manager to print out your FedEx and UPS labels. No reason to use a system like Indisha and Harvey to print out those labels. Everything is managed right inside of M.O.M itself, including viewing the tracking within M.O.M instead of going out to the carrier to see how the package is tracked. Obviously, you can still have that old support as well, but we do have the ability so you can track the package here in the system directly. We do have COD support on the label itself. You'll have the ability to view the order number and box number, or if necessary, the purchase order number on the label. We do have support of popular services for UPS and USPS. For example, for UPS, we do have the Saturday delivery. USPS, we do have the flat rate box management and stuff like that. And then you have the ability to generate your call tags or return labels out of the system itself. So let's talk a little bit about smart shipping. It's in our latest version, version 10. One of the things to talk about with smart shipping is it gets your orders to your customers quickly and efficiently while saving you a little bit on shipping costs. So there's a few things to look at. You have your best way. It's the most cost-effective method to ship your products to your customer. The fast way, the fastest method to ship your products to your customer. You also have guaranteed buy, which gives you the ability to find the most cost-effective shipping service to your customer in orders that require them to be delivered in 2, 3 days, a single day, whatever the case may be. And then also now we have the ability to smart ship by carrier, so you can view all your FedEx rates from, which will get there faster to also which will be there the most cost efficient. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take a quick timeout, but while I do that, I'm going to switch my presenter over from myself to Ian. Ian's going to go ahead and he's going to show you some of those features that I was talking about within Shippo itself. So we'll be right back, and then you'll see that new screen which shows you the inside of multi-channel order manager and M.O.M. All right, and we're back. I'm going to throw this over to Ian right now, and Ian's going to show you some of the features that we have in terms of our Shippo integration. So M.O.M shipping powered by Shippo. Ian, take it away.
Thank you, Sean. Just to confirm, you guys can see my screen?
Perfectly can.
Thank you. So start with, I'll show you all the different services that we have with Shippo. So basically, when you get into the mail order manager or multi-channel order manager, you'll get a screen where you can see all the shipping methods and services that's available. So obviously, you would have to set this up. You have different options here: rate shop on import or manual rate shop on orders. Although all these things we added as we kind of evolved with Shippo as our clients gave us feedback on what we need to do. So you can see a lot of changes here. We just enabled multi-parcel. We also did rate shopping for that as well. Some of the things that Sean mentioned as far as best way, you can see we have options here so that you can do best way, you can do fastest way, and really those gives you the most cost efficient ways and the fastest methods. But the other thing Sean touched upon was the guaranteed day buy. These are things that you can use to save on costs, especially if you're shipping within a particular region. So guaranteed 2-day, you might be able to ship it via ground instead of a kind of a second-day service, so you'd save costs that way. We also support flat rate boxes for USPS, so we have all those flat rates on the USPS side. And like Sean said, we just recently added a way to map carrier rate shop. So this is useful for specifically some of the FedEx clients that we have where they're trying to send a commercial or residential address. They don't know which one, and FedEx will charge them one or the other. This one will actually, what we do is we send it to Shippo. Shippo determines if it's commercial or residential, and then gives you the proper ground service and any other service with FedEx, and then we sort that in a cost basis. So the most efficient cost will be on top, and then we sorted that route. So again, we have a lot of options here. And going back to that question regarding other carriers, as we open up other carriers, the mapping for it will be really simple. You just go here. As you can see, for our UK clients, we also started looking at parcel force. So we do have mappings for those. So there's things that we're opening up slowly to our clients as we have the demand for them. So once the shipping methods are mapped, then you get to see that in the order. So I want to show some of the features Sean spoke about, like the view. Let me see the return label. So what we do with the return labels is a shipped order already. We actually enhanced this recently for ease of use. You can actually just hit call tag here, and when you get a return, typically it would default to the size and box of the what initially sent. But now we added a feature where you can actually put in the weight and height for what you're actually returning. And once we do that, it actually gives you a response from Shippo, letting you choose how you want to actually return it and what kind of return labels you actually want to produce. It has the information here, the box information, and you can get to choose. And then basically this will add a creation of a transaction, and it will add a call tag item onto your order, and that would then print the label for that particular call tag. So pretty cool feature there. Another feature I want to show is the tracking the order. So I have an order here that was been shipped. Let me see, I think it's this one. Where you can actually see the tracking information within M.O.M. So our old functionality used to take you to a website. So when I click track package like this opens up a custom URL, and this would take you to a UPS website where it would look something like this, where you get the UPS information, then you would get the shipment in progress, where what happened to it, what's going on when it was delivered and such. So you have all this information. What we did with Shippo is we can, if you left click on it, it will actually give you the actual information within the M.O.M system. And don't mind, you actually don't have to type actual. This is a deb copy, so I have to, it's part of my testing, but you can see this would be something that you would see instead of going to the website. So you get all the information here. So it's easier for your CSRs to kind of keep track of what's going on with the package. So you can see where it's coming from, where it's going to, what the tracking number is, and then where it is step by step along the way until it's actually delivered to the end client.
Hey, Ian, I'm sorry to interrupt. There's a question here from Fred in regards to the call tags, return labels. Are the call tag or return label shipping costs associated with the original customer's order?
Let me just, can you repeat that? Let me just see if I could see that question here.
Yeah, sure. It is, once again, are the return tag shipping costs associated with the original customer's orders?
I'm not following that question. So, Fred, can you elaborate on that a little bit? All
right. And then there was...
We can follow up offline. We can follow up with Fred offline.
And then there was another question, and I can answer this. This was from Michael. What if I'm not seeing all those options on my system? A couple of things, like I mentioned earlier when we were going through the slide deck, the smart shipping feature set and all that stuff is on version 10, the latest version of M.O.M. Now, also at the same time too, just make sure you're getting the latest updates for the latest shipping service, and that's something that you can get through the support portal. I mean, Ian, if you have any other ways that the customers can get it.
Yeah, that's typically we go to the support portal. We typically release a shipping service every time we release a new version of M.O.M. That's just to keep up with all the enhancements that we keep adding to the Shippo integration that we have. Typically, when you log into M.O.M, if there is a significant difference between your M.O.M EXE versus your shipping or vice versa, you will see a prompt in your M.O.M system letting you know that you should be recommended to update to a later version of M.O.M or a later version of the service that you're running. So you'll get those prompts as you log into the system.
And is there anything about what version of the system that they're running on, so they can actually see and view which version that they're running?
On the actual shipping service install, you can see what version you're actually running. Should be M.O.M shipping service. See how I have different versions here. So as you download the EXEs, you'll see what versions you actually run for that Shippo. And it'll tell you as you download it and install it to your system as well.
All right, Michael, and then if there's anything additional in regards to that, make sure you just reach out to our customer support team. They'd be happy to assist you if there's any additional questions with that. One thing that we should note here for everyone that's on this call and listening right now, anyone who uses our Shippo service is required to be on an active support and maintenance contract. Obviously, you will get a notification and a notice when you are nearing that expiration date, but make sure you are on the latest version of that. I'm sorry, go ahead, Ian.
No, I was asking if you had something else to add. I'm going to get into the smart shipping stuff. If you have nothing else, go ahead.
No, Fred, hold on to that question. It's a good question. We are going to actually talk about that in a little bit later of the webinar. So we'll get to your question a little bit later, and hopefully us talking about it will answer that for you. So Ian, back to you.
Sure. So you guys see my ordering screen here. So typically this would be what CSRs are seeing. So obviously you saw that you can do one-to-one mapping. You can type UPS. This would go always to UPS via the Shippo service. Or if you wanted to, you can do all the rate shopping that we just saw. So you can see if I do best way, this will come up with a rate shopping button. It's actually getting a call, getting all my rates from Shippo, and this will show up. So your CSR will be able to view all this information. So you can see where it's going to, the service, typical delivery times, the box information, and obviously the cost. So you can see all here, what it would take, and then obviously your CSRs would choose which ones are more appropriate. So you can see this one's selected by, sorted by best way. So I'm gonna go ahead and do one of those guaranteed buys. Let's do a G2, where it does the same thing, but this will give you all the shipping methods that can deliver this particular package in 2 days or less. So you can see all the days are either 1 or 2s, and then you can see the cost for that. Again, saving you your CSR time and money, where they can just pick it. Okay, I'm gonna always put best way or 2-day because they want it 2-day shipping, and then they just pick and choose which service they want to run. So they could choose ground or home delivery, whatever that is. And the last thing I want to show is the let's say the US, let's say US URS. There we go. So this is the rate shopping by carrier, I believe. Oh, no, it's not coming up. So you can see here, this should show you all the UPS method. And again, this is helpful if you just, you're not sure that you want to do UPS, or you just do UPS and you want to see what the cheapest one is, then you can do it that way. So you can see ground obviously is the cheapest, and then you can go ahead and select ground. At this point, you would, if you were to process this order, I just want to show that you could get a label out, and this is through our L form. So I'm going to go ahead and process this order, and then I'm going to stop at that point. Then next part, we'll show the Packers workstation and batch. Just exit the pick ticket. Then this should give us the screen the transaction, and it should give us the label for this. And you can see here, this is a sample label. Don't mind my driver and my printer. So the driver and my printer is cutting off the information up top, but this has all the shipping information, all the ship to, obviously the sample label that we get from UPS, and all the reference information down here. So if you had the PO number or reference 1 or 2, it would be listed down here. Again, this is all done within the system. So again, the workflow that you have is much streamlined because you're not getting out of the system. You're processing and printing labels within M.O.M, and you can imagine you can just peel this label off and then put the packing slip in a box and put the label on top of the box, close that off, and then off it goes to shipping. So the flow of this is really streamlined to make it much more efficient on your side, specifically on the warehousing as well. So that's the smart shipping in M.O.M 10. For now, I'm going to give it back to Sean and see if you have any questions on that, and then we'll go into the batch processing and Packers workstation. Sean?
Sure, and thank you once again, Ian, for showing us all that. We'll take a quick pause, and then I have a couple more slides to discuss all that batch processing, Packers workstation. Ian will show you all that, and then we'll take our last question break before wrapping it all up here. So we will be right back. All right, so, that was the direct way, and Shippo is, a great partner of ours and a great tool and a more efficient way to get your labels out more quickly and efficiently. And also you get a little bit more control, which you can see now within M.O.M rather than maintaining other systems and making sure that you can get out there as best as possible. So what I wanted to do now is step away from Shippo just shortly to talk about some of the other features within M.O.M itself to really maximize your potential and maximize the shipping potential that you may have not known. Like I said, I feel these two features that we're going to talk about are very underutilized, one more than another. So we're going to talk a little bit about both batch processing as well as Packer's Workstation. So with batch processing, and Ian's going to show both of these, you can actually streamline your process by allowing certain batches to run. This is a time savings, allowing you to focus on other areas of your business. Obviously, this helps also with less mistakes, which leads to cost savings. And obviously, this will help you increase customer satisfaction on getting the orders right the first time. So, we batch all these orders together, and there's different ways that you can batch them, and Ian will go into that. But that really gets them out the door. And with the holiday season coming up and fastly approaching, this is something that you really want to take a look at and actually, learn how to manage a little bit so that way you can get out those orders through the door quickly and more efficiently. Now, there's also the other side to it with Packer's Workstation. And Fred, this is, I think, something that you were really interested in learning about, and we'll show you this in the system in a few. But this actually gives you the ability to add extra checkpoints on the orders. Focuses more on accuracy with the ability to scan and pack the orders in the system. This will then lead to less mistakes, lower return rate due to mispacked orders, and obviously increase customer satisfaction. Obviously, this doesn't help with the amount of orders you can get out at a given time if you're worried more about, getting the most out at one given time. But this all gives you a QA process, so to speak, so that packer can, look over the item, make sure it's good heading, making sure that the picker actually, pick the right item to go along with that shipment. So it gives you, major checks and balances, making sure you get those items out and get those items out right. So what I'm going to be doing right now is I'm going to throw this once again over to Ian. Ian's going to go into M.O.M and share this information for you guys and show you how it works. We'll be right back.
All right, Sean, can you confirm if you see the screen?
Looks good.
Thank you. So going to batch process. So again, in M.O.M, you have two different ways to process orders. You have the batch process where you do everything in bulk versus the Packer's Workstation where each order has to be touched to make sure that they're accurate and you avoid some of those mistakes or wrong items being shipped to the end client. So within the M.O.M system, you have the global parameters where you can set up that setting. Now, a lot of clients will go to batch directly. So meaning they'll set up their processing flow, which is controlled right on this screen, where you can say you can batch process everything, meaning you're going to batch process your pick ticket, your packing slips, and your shipment. So you could do that. Obviously, batch, you can kind of set it and forget it, where you can take 150, 250, 1,000 orders, let it run, and it'll print all the proper paperwork for you and be done with it. So you can potentially output more orders at that point. Again, but there's also that cost of maybe there's certain criteria we want to check. So with the batch process, you can actually include checkpoints. If you do order must be reviewed for a manager's authorization, you can establish checkpoints for your batch, where you can see if any product ordered below a particular profit margin, or an order totaling over $1,000, an order that's being shipped overnight, or a billing address is different than shipping address. So you have all these controls and checks so that way you don't necessarily have to touch it one order at a time. So if the criteria you're looking for is listed under a manager's review, then you might just do a manager review, and you'll have someone review all the orders, make sure they're good, and then release them to the batch, and then all the orders are going to be printed together. So that's one way of doing it. Also, with the batch processing, we added a new feature with M.O.M 10 where you can actually configure it. If you're used to our system, every time you go to the batch, you have to then uncheck or check the boxes that you need to run. Now, if you're established warehouse where everything's done the same way every day, then typically you have certain checkboxes that's already been checked, or that should be checked all the time. So we give you that ability right here. So you can pick and choose which stages you want to run in the batch process by default. And then obviously if you need to change it, you can override it on the batch side as well. We also added a new feature where you can actually limit the number of orders you can process in a batch. So depending on what your warehouse staffing looks like, you can actually say, okay, my staffing can only handle 50 orders per batch because I have 2 guys working. So you can print 50 orders at a time. You split the picking and packing. You give those to those guys, and once they're done the whole batch, then you can run another 50. There was ability to do this in the previous versions of M.O.M 9, where you can put an order number range. But the challenge with order number ranges, they could be orders in between, and then you actually have to remember all the different ranges that you just ran. So this makes it easier for you. So all you have to do is go to the batch screen and hit process, and it will give you the next 50 orders, or in my case, the next 100 orders. The other thing I want to touch on this screen is the Packer's Workstation. So the Packer's Workstation, you can do it manually, and that's where it could be cumbersome, where it does give you more accurate shipment out of M.O.M, but it also does, negate the amount of volume you can get out of the system. So that's a give and take. However, if you want to actually optimize the amount of volume, if you're going for volume, there is an option to Packer's Workstation automatically process this stage. And what that gives you is another printer. So you can imagine if you did batches right now, you typically, when you do a batch, you can only print that to one printer. So eventually there is going to be a bottleneck that's going to be caused because you only have one printer. Now, if you go to a process where you do Packer's Workstation and you have multiple Packer's Workstation, you can have a printer for each Packer's Workstation. So you're removing that bottleneck of the printer, and then by doing it automatically, as the orders are, after they've been reviewed, they automatically go to the Packer's Workstation, automatically assign, and then it would actually automatically print. So if you had five warehouse resources, they can actually just wait on their station, and they would have paperwork printing out all day long. And again, this is for if you're really high volume, you can actually take advantage of the automatic process on this stage. Again, we get a lot of misconception where batch is the fastest way or the method to get the volume out, but there is another way where you do Packer's Workstation via the automatic process, because then again, it removes that bottleneck of the printer. So now you have multiple lines where you can have 5 printers printing orders all the time, allowing you to output much more higher volume out of the M.O.M system. So those are different ways you can kind of design your workflow. Again, you can design it and you can have combinations of both, like I have here. I have pick tickets in batch and I have Packer's Workstation for packing slip. So we're gonna look at that together, see what the Packer's Workstation looks like and how that kind of ties in. So once I save my setting here, we'll go take a look at the Packer's Workstation. So over here, this would be the screen your typical warehouse resource would see. Basically, they would have a scanner if they'd like. They can scan a pick ticket or a packing slip that they would have in hand with the list of all the products that they have. And then once you scan it, you could see this is the point where you actually scan the barcode of the item. So you can see it's starting at the left content. So as you scan the product, it would actually go to the right. So I can scan my ACVM product. It verifies that it is the ACVM product because it would be barcoded. And then you would scan the second product and be barcoded, and then it would confirm that this is all ready to go. Then at this point, you would print a packing slip. When you print a packing slip, this would then go to Shippo, depending on what the method I have attached to this order. And then you would be able to view that order, and then again, you have the label right there. So the packer would actually just print this out, peel the label, close all the boxes, put the packing slip in there, and put the label on top of the box, and then off it goes to the shipping again. So again, makes it very easy. And again, with this method, the way we did it, it really avoids the mispick, because then you're confirming the exact product that's supposed to be going in that particular box. Also on the Packer's Workstation, I want to point out that in here, we have options for the packers to actually, add boxes and move items easily. So you can drag and drop items to the other box. You can make another box and drag another item in there. So depending how they're doing it in the warehouse, where it initially said, oh, this only needs one box, but it can't fit in one box, it needs to go in 3, they have the flexibility and choose it. And then again, we would have, print a packing slip, and again, that would do the same thing. You would print out all the labels for all 3 boxes for you. Very easy, very flexible, and it's really streamlined the process of that part. And then last thing I want to show you today is just the batch processing. Here, as you can see, based on my configuration, a lot of the boxes are already unchecked based on what I want to run. This would allow you to print the pick tickets. So if you had 100 pick tickets here, those would print 100 pick tickets for you, and you would just hit process here depending on what you want to run. Since I did my packing slip in the Packer's Workstation, this is a great app because I'm the way I set up my system. But if you had the packing slip here, this would also print the labels for you, like the L form that you just saw previously. And if you had extra labels, it would also print on a 4x6 on stage 4 and 5. So again, those are the 2 different ways we do shipping or order flows in M.O.M. So what I just showed you is the batch process and the Packer's Workstation. So any questions on those processes?
All right, so I mean, we're wrapping this up. As this continues, I mean, Ian will pass over presentership to me for one last time, and then we'll answer any questions that you may have, and then also give us some final thoughts from each of us as we go on here. So once again, thanks, Ian. Happy to see all that. So we'll be right back in 20 seconds. We'll wrap it up here. All right, so as we wind this down, we wanted to share any last closing thoughts here. So I'm going to throw it over to Jim with his closing statements.
Folks, thank you for attending today. A pleasure to have you. Pleasure to have our partners with Shippo with us as well. And to sum up, really just wanted to reinforce the work we've been doing along with Shippo to take the processes and power of Shippo, that one-to-many connection inside of M.O.M, to improve workflow, to be able to give you more options to respond to the many, many different pressures you're feeling from your customers, and to be able to give you the opportunity to control your costs, which, as we all know, is really important. And the other thing, too, is just to explain a little bit about how other features of M.O.M, batch processing and Packer's Workstation, when taken together with Shippo, bring really a complete shipping solution and ways to both control costs and also to manage volumes more productively and to get more orders out the door as you will want to. So thank you for that. And Katrina, any closing thoughts from you?
No, thank you so much for having us.
Okay. Ian, anything else?
Not on my side, unless there's other questions for the product side.
So I want to once again thanks everyone for attending. Thank you, Katrina. Thank you, Ian, for showing us and talking us through everything. We do appreciate all the questions, and obviously, if there are any more questions about what you saw today, feel free to always reach out to us at marketing@freestylesolutions.com. We'll be able to answer any of your questions and pass you along into the direction that you need to go to. Like I said, if you are currently running on M.O.M and you are currently running the M.O.M shipping powered by Shippo system, just check out to see what version you're running to get all the new and exciting features, especially for those who run M.O.M version 10. Once again, thank you for everything. Thank you for listening, and we'll hear from you guys soon. Thank you.